So I asked her, "Did you feel that?"
The earthquake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hey,
What's up, guys?
Brian here,
Jesse.
MMA the hard way. Man, oh man, that was. What did you think of that card last Saturday?
You know what? I was surprised. The one thing that stuck out was that Vera has heart.
Yeah, Vera has heart, and Shogun still gasses. I mean,
yeah,
that's what
he still gasses. I wish he had a better fuel economy. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like that's the one stickler with Shogun is just his cardio.
Yeah.
Weird. But he still fought hard. He still, he ran on hard, and he still TKO'd Vera.
Vera hit him with some of those. You see some of those body,
the body shots,
those leg kicks to the body.
He had him in the guillotine for a while.
Yep.
And he still, Shogun still persevered and got out.
Yep.
So, what do you think of the next fight that's coming up?
I'll tell you.
UFC 150.
We got Frankie Edgar, Benson Henderson, and I guess Frankie Edgar must have some sort of world record for the most consecutive rematches. I mean,
he has been his last 5 fights have all been championship rematches.
Yeah.
Or championship matches. That's unheard of. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, and my personal opinion is I hope that Frankie Edgar loses, and not because I think he's a great dude and he's a great fighter and all that. I'm just tired of seeing him in lightweight title fights.
You know what? The same thing here. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I wasn't too impressed with his fights with BJ Penn. At least the first one. I thought BJ Penn won the first one. Second one, okay, was more convincing. Where I became a fan of Frankie Edgar was he got beat up by Gray Maynard in the first fight, and he still came back. And the second, and I still had a kind of little thing, okay, all right, that's cool. But when he came back and knocked out Gray Maynard TKO, that was okay. The guy's for reals.
Yeah, I'm just being totally selfish when it's like I want to see some of these other guys.
Yeah, I want to see. Yeah,
I want to see Nate Diaz eventually.
I feel it's a bottleneck. It's a lightweight bottleneck. We need to get
There's so many
people coming up there just waiting. I want to see Nate Diaz. I want to see Nate Diaz. I want to see Nate Diaz, fight.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be great because I know Benson Henderson is like, hey, I want to defend this. I ain't leaving. I busted my ass to get here. And I know Frankie Edgar is like everybody says. It's as clear as day. He's got a great team. Phil Nurse, I guarantee you right now, Phil Nurse is getting surgical with his Muay Thai and with figuring out ways for him to land more powerful shots and stuff like that. I know Phil Nurse is incredible.
And his size is an advantage and a disadvantage. An advantage that he doesn't have to go through the rigorous weight cut.
Yeah.
But disadvantage because most of the guys he's fighting, they probably fight at 165, 170. So they're big guys.
He wasn't such a great wrestler. I think he'd have a really tough time against the cage. So my take on the fight, I think it's going to go to a decision, and I think it's going to be Henderson. And I base that off of the fact that I think he's going to be very elusive with the takedowns. And I think that if Frankie does take him down, I don't think he's going to be able to land much damage. And then I also think that he's going to be able to land more significant strikes. But Frankie's a point scorer, though.
I see it that way too, but I kind of, something tells me that Benson's in a TKO Edgar. I think he wants to put a stamp on it. I think, believe it or not, I think he's still trying to erase the kick heard around the world from Pettis at the WEC Championship. He wants, I think that kick still comes up, and even though Pettis has nothing to do with this fight, I think he just wants to put a stamp.
Ever
think
since that fight, he has been putting stamp. I mean, the way he finished some of his last few fights, and then I think one of the most underrated fights of last year is him versus Clay Guida.
Yeah,
that thing was fucking sick.
They were going. I wish that Clay Guida came in against Gray Maynard instead of the elusive ninja one that was just going back and forth or whatever. But I think that was a great fight. But I see Benson maybe referee stoppage, or unanimous decision. But I don't know. I see a TKO.
All right. Well, let's see. We got Cowboy Gillard
and Melvin Gillard. This one's tough. They're gonna stand and bang. I don't think it's gonna go to the ground. I think Melvin's gonna want to try and keep it standing up because he's not that. He's got okay ground stuff. Not at Cerrone's level.
Yeah, he just wants to knock people out,
Yeah.
I mean, that's his whole game. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, he has shown, since Nate Diaz, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
He's only a couple of losses.
Which they both lost to.
Yeah, and he has been submitted. So that's I think that's his weak spot.
That's his Achilles heel, yeah.
The thing is Cerrone is very slick.
He's slick. He's really good. I think they're gonna try and keep it standing. Donald because he probably wants to go for a knockout, and Gillard because he just doesn't want to go to the ground. Yeah. That's the thing, Well,
Cowboy's just got I think he's just a very much more well-rounded fighter. Cardio's not going to be an issue. Melvin, he struggled with making weight.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not just the fact that he's not one-dimensional, but I'd say two-dimensional at best.
He's a big 155.
Yeah,
and he's got he's got that power. He's got that power. Yeah, the chances are.
I'm sure that Greg Jackson's probably got Cerrone on stick and move.
I just hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't change his fight style to the point where he's so elusive that it becomes boring.
Yeah.
That's my fear.
Kind of like Maynard Guida.
Well, like Diaz and Condit. I hope that one thing I've been watching that Greg Jackson, when his fighters are going up against KO power type fighters, he really tells them, hey, try and stay on the outside.
Yeah.
Try and stay on the outside. Guida, Condit. I'm surprised that Cerrone took it to Diaz when they fought. I think it was earlier this year.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good fight. And then we have the last one we're gonna run down really quickly is Jake Shields and Short Fuse. What do you think?
Man, I gotta say, ever since I've been a Jake Shields fan for at least 4 years. But when he beat Dan Henderson,
oh yeah,
I mean. Dan had a bad weight cut or anything, but I was just like, I can't believe I'm still blown away by that. I felt really bad when he fought Jake Ellenberger. It was like
he was going through some
horrible
stuff.
His dad died. I mean, he's a guy that, and he's been going. They've been showing Jake Shields. He's been going all around the country at different. I think he was in. Florida. I think he was training with the Black Zillions.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard too.
And I mean, he's getting out of his Cesar Gracie comfort zone in terms of.
I think he's just much more. I think he's now comfortable. He's sweat his pain out. His father's lost. His father was not only his father, was his best friend, his corner man, always there pushing him and trying to bring out the best out of him, and that really affected him. Hey, Dana White said, you know what? If Jake Shields would have pulled out, I would totally understand. And he stayed there. That showed something.
I'll tell you.
And he's hungry. He's hungry.
He can take a beating too. Herman might land some blows, but I'll tell you, take a look at Ed Herman's record.
Oh yeah, you can't compare it.
It's not that great.
I mean,
I think it's almost. I almost consider, unless there's something I don't know about Ed Herman, it's kind of a gimme fight for Shields. But he didn't look that great.
And Shields is fighting at his prior weight, 185, when he was at Strikeforce at 185. I think maybe also I read a blurb somewhere that the weight cut for him to 170 was pretty.
Yeah,
It was pretty tough. It was really tough.
I think he's going to impress. I maybe even get a submission in the first round.
I think he's going to go to his bread and butter, which is jiu-jitsu. I think he's going to try and submit him.
Takedown.
He has to be careful with short fuse because he's got grenades in both hands.
Yeah,
He's got them both. He's got a wicked overhand right, and he does have a chin. He does have a chin. But I think Jake Shields is refocused. He's revamped. You could almost maybe say after his father's death that he's Shields 2.0, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's fighting at 185 opposed to 170. So I think I think he's really trying to, I don't want to say reinvent himself, but he wants to, be the Jake Shields he was.
I think we're gonna see this is gonna be the turnaround fight.
I hope it is. He's had a tough year. He's had a tough year. So that's it, guys, for now.
That's all the time we got. Please subscribe. We got more coming back at you, and look forward to your comments and feedback. Thanks a lot.
Did you really feel the earthquake?
Yeah, man. Just leave it alone.
Okay, all right. Yeah, whatever.